There's actually a reason why the religious background of one of the Columbine assailants is so interesting. So something you hear about the Columbine assailants all the time on the internet is that they were white supremacist neo-Yazis. I don't think I can say that word on here. Which would be very strange for them to be neo-Yazis if one of them had a Jewish background, and if the other one, if he was a first of all, if the one with the Jewish background was a neo-Yazi, that'd be like some self-hating kind of shit. But then and kind of hypocritical, very hypocritical actually, but then if the other one was a neo-Yazi, then why would he be friends with someone who is Jewish? In fact, when you take a look at the background and the history of the two assailants, the one without the Jewish background, the shorter looking weeby one, he actually was very, very, very fascinated by the bad mustache man, Mr. World War II. What's odd enough, though, is that the reason why they looked up to the mustache dude, it wasn't necessarily because they were anti-Semitic or because they were white supremacists. It was actually because of their fascination with the fact that this man carried on such an act of mass destruction. And they look up to someone who was able to do that kind of stuff and actually get away with it. He hated someone, he saw a solution, he saw a violent solution, he went for it, he succeeded, he achieved it. No, I'm not getting into that on here. That is a much deeper conversation than I can get into on here. Y'all are gonna have to look that one up yourself. Y'all are gonna have to do your own research. And then on top of it, the Columbine High School massacre occurred on April 20th, which happened to be Mustache Man's birthday. Even though it had nothing to do with his birthday, Columbine was actually supposed to happen the day before, because it was supposed to line up with the date of the Waco siege, the final day of the Waco siege, and the Oklahoma City Alfred P. Murrah, the federal building. Can I say that on here? Big booming? Y'all know what incident I'm talking about. Those both happened on April 19th, and initially the attacks were supposed to happen on April 19th to line up with those two events happening, because those two events had a major impact on inspiring the assailants, specifically Timothy McVeigh from the Big Booming. And he did his big booming in part as a retaliation to the Waco siege, which, ended very, very catastrophically and horribly on April 19th as well. So everyone assumed, oh my God, it had to be because of that too. But there was so much admiration and respect for the person who was in charge of the Yazis that you would think that there'd be a little more research into hey, who is this person that I'm such good friends with, that I'm such best friends with, that I'm going to do these horrible things with? I would know. You think so many things about him. And the little dweeb did not know that the tall, skinny dweeb did not know that he was part Jewish until right before the attacks, when they were talking about their plans and stuff. And the tall doofus, the tall one of the two assailants, mentioned on the basement tapes that, his family was going to be very upset, specifically his uncle, because this was going to happen right before, the Jewish holidays, to which the little one looks at the tall one and goes, "You're Jewish?" That's why the religious background is interesting. It's not interesting because, was he Presbyterian? Was he Anglican? Was he Catholic? Was he Baptist? No specific denominations, a little nitpicky, kind of. No, it's interesting. And I don't want to say it's prevalent in this story, but add some interesting twist to it.